AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. We'll head down to Miami Gardens in about 15 minutes. Bill Bender of the Sporting News will be here, preview tonight's national championship game, which we are about 2.5 hours away from kickoff. Tigers certainly hoping to be in that game next year, and a gigantic portal class will be one of the catalysts. Actually, the first addition via the transfer portal in this cycle for LSU was former Hawaii wide receiver Jackson Harris, who's now LSU wide receiver Jackson Harris, who's good enough to join us here on the show. Jackson, we appreciate the time, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing awesome, man. We appreciate you for squeezing us in. I know it's a busy time for you. I mentioned it. You were the first portal edition of this class. What made you pull the trigger for LSU?
I mean, I did have some other visits lined up, or potentially getting lined up. But when I set foot in Baton Rouge, it was just just as Coach Kiff had been preaching, man. It's just different. So it's just plenty here for me to get better, just continue to develop as a player, and eventually go to the league.
Man, I want to talk about development and all that sort of stuff, but it's interesting too because you're a Berkeley kid who went to Stanford and then to Hawaii. So West Coast by nature, you said like it was just different. So I mean that had to be culture shock to a degree coming from Hawaii to Baton Rouge. What were some of the things specifically that stood out when you got here?
You mean just like as far as the city or like?
Yeah, and anything. What are the things that if someone said to you, "Hey Jackson, tell me about your trip to Baton Rouge"? Like, what were the things that stood out?
I just feel like it's a really inclusive community from what I've experienced so far. Just they show so much love to the athletes out here. Like I was going shopping for furniture, and the nice ladies at the furniture shop were just showing love. I got to meet them, talk with them a little bit. So it's just a lot of love and support, and I really like how everybody rides behind the football team. So it's just something I wanted to be a part of, and put on for the city.
Yeah, it's so interesting too. You said you just made me think of this when you said you went furniture shopping. Like all you guys, you're moving your life, right? You're moving your life from Hawaii to Baton Rouge. You got to do all those things, find a place to live and get furniture and everything like that. What you were also. You were on the visit, or when Sam Levitt went to the basketball game, you were there with them. So you've gotten to meet Sam. Tell me a little bit about the guy that's going to be slinging the football for LSU this year.
Oh, yeah. I've been I know Sam's still, on his little timeline from his injury, but I've been throwing with Landon and Hassan, and them boys can sling it, man. I think we got a really talented room. And I know Sam is, he's a veteran guy with, obviously the most experience. So he's gonna lead this team, man, and we're gonna be really explosive on offense.
Sam and Hassan are both West Coast guys as well. Did you know either of them through recruiting or playing against them or anything like that?
Yeah, no, I was really under recruited in high school. I actually only played about a season and a half of high school football. My junior year, I hurt my finger, and I played the back half of the season. I did all right, and then going into my senior year, I had some D3s, but I didn't want to settle for the D3 offers. Obviously, no problem going D3, D2, or wherever. But I want to, play on a bigger stage. So I grinded, and I earned a couple of Power 5 offers by the end of the year. And I think it was Utah, Cal, and Stanford were the biggest ones I had. And, I grew up down the street from Cal Berkeley, so I wanted to kind of branch out. So I wanted to go to Stanford, great degree. And then, that obviously didn't work out. So, I bet on myself, went to Hawaii, and had a, pretty productive year, and it allowed me to come here and play on the biggest stage every single week.
I'd say so, man. First team All Mountain West. Pretty incredible season for the Rainbow Warriors this year. Jackson Harris is our guest. So, by the way, you're listed at, I see this right here, at 6'3", 205. Is that right, by the way? Because who are we talking to? We're talking to Winnie Watkins, and ESPN has him listed at like 6'2". He's like, no, man, I'm 5'11". So, is that right? Are you 6'3", but 205?
Yeah, I think I'm just under 6'3". I mean, I've always been measured at like 6'2" and like a little under 6'3". So, I mean, 6'3" is about right, and I'm about 205. Yeah.
So you talked about being under recruited. Was there a point where like you hit a growth spurt where you popped up to be 6'2", 6'3"?
I mean, when I got to high school, I was like 6'1" maybe.
Okay.
And then I played soccer my whole life, so that's why I started football late. So I was playing soccer my whole life, and then I kind of wanted to change gears, and then I tried out football. I mean, my family played football. My uncle played at Fresno State, and my uncle played in the league. And so I come from an athletic background. So obviously, I knew how to play.
Yeah.
But I just, hadn't put on the pads before. So, I mean, it was just I just had a great coach, Coach Perry at Berkeley High School. He just gave me the platform to, go put on a show and, get some D1 offers, man. So I didn't really know what college football really held, and I didn't really know how the recruiting scene worked. So I was just playing, and it just came.
This is fascinating, man. I mean, your journey from playing a year and a half of college to betting on yourself, going to Stanford, then to Hawaii, now landing at LSU, part of this portal class, is amazing. Tell me about, I would assume, so when you came for your visit, I would assume that's the first time you met Lane Kiffin. Tell me about your new head coach.
Yeah, I think he's just really competitive, and he's got a lot on his plate. Obviously, you can see how the media kind of talks down on him. But like one thing I was kind of like observing is like he really just embraces it. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not trying to speak for him, but that's just my observation.
Sure.
I feel like, he's getting all this hate, but it's like, if I'm pretty sure majority of coaches would have taken the same opportunity. I mean, it's LSU, it's just different. And you can hate on him all you want, but he's still gonna back it up, and he's still gonna talk, and he's still gonna, be that same competitive coach. So I just think it's a great mindset. And I kind of got that same mindset. I don't really care what anybody thinks of me. I've been underrated my whole life. So I mean, I just felt like I could connect on that level.
Sure. I mean, you were the first portal addition. They ended up adding 9 wide receivers, so it's a pretty big haul there at your position. When you were being recruited and committed, did they tell you that was kind of the plan, like they were going to go add a bunch of guys in that room?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. You got to work wherever you go, and obviously they had a lot of guys leaving the room, so we got to fill up the room with talented guys. So it's just gonna push us all to be better, and we're gonna compete with each other. So I'm just excited to get in the room with these guys and really get rolling here these next few weeks.
Got a couple more for you. Is there a wide receiver that you kind of modeled your game after that you think sort of you mirror how you play?
That's a good question. I feel like, when I started playing football late, like I said, I kind of started watching when Jerry Jeudy and Devonta Smith was popping off at Bama. I just feel like those guys are really aggressive route runners, and also really smooth players. Can have the ability to get yacked. So I mean, I've been watching those guys for a long time, and I still do. Obviously, Devonta Adams, he's a craftsman. He's a craftsman. He's just elite at what he does. So those guys are some some role models for me for sure.
And you averaged 19.7 yards a catch. Like every time they got you the rock, it's 20 yards, man. It's pretty incredible. Big play waiting to happen. Hey, man, the Super Bowl is in your backyard coming up here in a few weeks, man. You got a rooting interest in that game?
I don't. My Bears just lost. My stepdad is a Bears fan, so I was rooting for them. But I mean, I want to see the Seahawks win, man. I know that's a really good team, and I think Sam Darnold deserves it. So,
dude, how did you go being a kid from Berkeley, not being a 49ers fan?
Yeah, I mean,
I love it, by the way. I mean, as a Saints fan, I hate the 49ers. They used to be in the same division forever. They're not anymore. But so, I mean, but how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously, I was a Raiders fan for growing up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They were in Oakland.
They were in Oakland. So, I mean, I don't know. There's something about the Niners, man. I just don't really like them. All my boys like them, and I love talking trash to them. So, I mean,
you and me will get along just fine. Jackson Harris, LSU transfer wide receiver. Hey, man, congrats on your decision. Welcome to Baton Rouge. Look forward to meeting you in person, man. But thanks for a few minutes today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good one.
You do the same. It's our pleasure, Jackson Harris. You'll follow him on Instagram, by the way. He's at Jackson Harris with 2 S's at the end of Harris. His name is spelled Harris, but on his Instagram, it's at Jackson Harris with 2 S's, probably just because I would imagine there's quite a few Jackson Harrises. But anyway, give him a follow, give him shout him out, give him some love. But that's the guy that was the first commit to Lane Kiffin in this portal class, averaged 19.7 yards of reception. Or you tell me 6'3", 205, who just told you played soccer, which tells you he's got great footwork, who can fly, who can make you miss. I mean, yeah, give me that guy. They loaded up, and I love that the mentality too. Want to go compete. Just think about where he's come from. Under recruited, goes to Stanford, lightly used. So then he goes somewhere I could play, goes to Hawaii, blows up, all Mountain West, back in the portal. Now he's at LSU. Biggest stage. Let's go, man. Love that. Congrats to Jackson Harris. Thanks for the time, man. Good stuff there. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Tell you every day do business with someone. You know, I want to remind you, we got a great video up right now on social media. It just got posted that of Tim Rusk, one of our great salesmen and inspectors. Tim's great. And Tim is doing a video where he's walking a property and kind of walking you through a few things to take notice of with your roof, to let you know if you might have damage, or a couple of things worth keeping an eye on. And something that I really want to make you aware of is when we talk about that free, no obligation roofing inspection, how important that is, because a lot of times that inspection is going to find hazards or potential damage that could lead to big issues. So an inspection is always free, but like in this video, Tim's showing a spot where there's some moisture in the soffit and how that could lead to a big issue. He gets up on the roof and shows like why leaves in the valley are a problem, because that could cause water to pool, and when water pools, it creates a dam, and water pools on your roof, that could create leaks. Anyway, there's so many things that a very simple inspection, which is free, by the way, can reveal that could extend the life of your roof. So let us help you out. It's Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Just fill out the form on the homepage. We'll get someone out there. They'll walk it, mark it, chalk it, do the whole thing for you, give you a full inspection report. Parish Construction and Roofing. Residential, commercial. We do roof repairs, no matter how big or small. We can do your full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And, of course, we also can do your gutters, and we have a soft wash crew, which is amazing. Maybe you don't need a roof replacement. Maybe you don't need repairs. Maybe it just needs to be cleaned. We have a soft wash crew as well. We do it all. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing. All right, y'all, it is AFR. We knock out a quick break. We're going to head down to South Beach, Miami Gardens, as a matter of fact. Bill Bender's there at Sporting News. National Championship game about 2 hours and 15 minutes away. 2 hours and 35 minutes from kickoff exactly, as I see the countdown on the screen right there. We'll talk to Bill Bender from Miami next on AFR.
AFR.
You know, it's one sort of preventative talking point into another. We're just telling you about Parish and taking care of your roof. When we talk about River City's 1 hour air, it's about the same message for your HVAC. You know, I tell you every year, seasonally, the importance of your standard seasonal maintenance, right? So now that it's cold and you're turning on your heater, how important it is to make sure that you have your heater inspected. And if you didn't do it last season, or you can't remember the last time that you had your heater checked, it is time. It doesn't matter if you think it's running fine, because the bottom line is, if you want to extend the life of your heater, you want to make sure it runs efficiently so it saves you money on your energy bills, and most importantly, that it's safe to operate, you got to have this standard seasonal maintenance. It's like an oil change for your car. You should do it every year. And if you haven't done it this year or can't remember the last time you did, it's time to call River City's 1 Hour Air for the heater safety check. 752-0001, 752-0001.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
It is a close team, and I've witnessed quite a bit of sentimentalism throughout the week from some of our seniors who we've been with quite a long time. I think it's time to sharpen the saw now, throw those warm fuzzies out the door, that sentimentalism. It's time to go play a game against a great opponent. We got to have a sharp edge going into this game, and you don't go to war with warm milk and cookies.
Curt Cignetti trying to do the improbable, win a national championship in year 2 at a place that was the losingest program in college football history when he showed up. It's incredible. Bill Bender, Sporting News. He's there in Miami Gardens. He's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Bill, we appreciate you for making the time, man. How are you?
Yeah, that was that part of Mel Gibson's Braveheart speech? The warm milk and cookies?
Not exactly, but both were equally as effective. Hey, you're a guy that covers the landscape of college football nationally, but you are based in Big Ten country. Give me and our audience here, some perspective on what Indiana's trying to do.
I'd be like Vanderbilt going undefeated this year, but not just. And Vanderbilt had a great season. It would be like them hammering teams by 28. What is going on? How is this happening? It's the 2-year turnaround's remarkable. The way that Cignetti's done it is remarkable. It's I keep telling people, Matt, there hasn't been a Big Ten win a national championship since not named Michigan or Ohio State since Michigan State in 1965.
Oh wow!
Not like the SEC where you guys spread them out a little bit.
That is. Man, what a stat. I didn't realize that. I mean, obviously you would think of the heavy consolidation of Michigan and Ohio State, but didn't realize. So, you're talking about something 6 decades in the making here if Indiana pulls this off tonight. By the way, Bill, can you give us, I know you're there at Miami Garden, can you give us a scene setter?
Yeah, I got in before the security was, I guess, really more tighter. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like, I got here early enough that it wasn't too bad to get through. I'm going to guess 50-50. 50-50 Indiana, 50-50 Miami. And let me tell you something I think about that. When Ohio State played Tennessee a couple years ago, remember that playoff game? There was probably about 40% Tennessee there, and it riled up the Ohio State fans. And I wonder if that's going to be the same effect tonight. I think that could be very real.
That is so interesting, 50-50. I understand it's Miami's home field, but I certainly thought that Indiana would take over. So 50-50 will be fascinating to see how this plays out. Bill, we're going to talk so much about the quarterbacks, Mendoza and Beck. As you try to handicap that matchup with the two of them, specifically in the matchups against their defenses, who would you say has an edge?
Well, Mendoza, he hasn't made too many mistakes, and we can't find too many flaws with this guy. I think the way to pressure him is to do what Penn State and Iowa did. You have to take away the running game. In the games where Indiana was beatable, they averaged less than 4 yards per carry. And I thought Penn State was going to beat them. That was the one where I was like, that pressure's getting to them a little bit. So Miami's defensive line has to be just wreck the game. Yeah, and they can do that. Other side, Carson Beck just keep doing what he's doing, right? Like, don't make mistakes. Don't make the head-scratching throw that maybe leads to a pick six, something like that. Like, let's be honest, like Dante Moore did on the first play of the game, which set the tone for that blowout.
How, Bill, so, and obviously, I asked a poorly phrased question, obviously. Mendoza's been amazing. He's the Heisman winner. Of course, they have an edge at quarterback. But when I think about Miami offensively, they overwhelmed Ole Miss at the line of scrimmage. That was a very close game, but Miami, if you're watching, your eyeball showed you they were dominating the line of scrimmage in that football game. But Indiana is so good in their defensive front seven. How does Miami offensively have an advantage in this game? Maybe they can exploit, do you think?
Lean on that line. They're huge. Like, that was something that stood out at media day. I was like, wow, these guys are enormous. And you get that effect in championship games sometimes. Like, size-wise, I would compare it to, like, when Georgia played TCU. You know what I mean? When you saw the Georgia guys, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Georgia's going to, or Miami can physically dominate Indiana like Georgia did TCU that night, which, by the way, that was a easy story by halftime. But I don't think, it's the same game, but it's the same concept. Can you push the other team around with your huge offensive line and not make those mistakes you were mentioning?
Bill Bender, Sporting News, is with us at Bill Bender 92. Give him a follow at Bill Bender 92. He's there at Miami Gardens. Does special teams come into factor tonight? If it does, who has an edge?
Always does. And I think, the kickers have both been solid. The punters have been solid. I mean, maybe Malachi Tony breaks a punt return. That could be like one of those X factor plays. I think the biggest key too for Miami, and I mentioned, you and I grew up around, I'm 46. So like, I remember the Orange Bowls and how that became an advantage because Miami would make that big play or two early in the game. Can they do that kind of if the panic starts? This game, like the setting reminds me a little bit of Clemson, Alabama, the one year when Clemson, not the year they lost, but the year they won.
Was that the Clemson blowout?
No, the Hunter Renfrow.
Oh, the Renfrow game. They kind of blend together. Yeah. One of them, I think, was in the Bay Area.
Yeah, that the blowout was in the Bay Area. The close one was in Tampa Bay, and that was Jalen Hurts and Deshaun takes it right back down. I hope we get that kind of game. And here's something that annoys me while I'm on the soapbox. We got to move this thing up. We were talking about Sean McDermott all morning.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's so true. And next year, I believe, is the 26th is when they're going to play the championship game, which is absurd.
Is it the weekend before March Madness starts?
Bill Bender, hey, two more things for you. Your time much appreciated. One, Xavier Lucas is going to miss the first half after the targeting call. Does that have a big factor, do you think, in the first half of this game?
Could impact play calling, how aggressive they are throwing the football. I mean, Miami with those injuries in the secondary, and I think it's just another reminder that we need to yellow card, red card targeting.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to find a way to fix that so that it doesn't have the impact on the game that it might have in the first half tonight. I know what we're trying to do with player safety, but I've thought that for years. You can't, if it's a yellow card, it's a yellow card. And there's been not a lot, but enough of them this year that I'm like, what's the defender supposed to do? Yeah. And when that you can't eject players when they have to play at that speed.
Yeah. Flagrant 1, flagrant 2, same thing. I mean, yes, there absolutely has to be varying degrees. Okay, last thing. What do you think is a key, and who'd you pick?
I picked Indiana. I mean, early in the process, I had them 31-19, but I'm feeling like a 24-17 type game, 28-17 maybe. I think it's going to be fun, and if Miami can pull this into the fourth quarter, who knows? And just watch the line of scrimmage. I think you bring up a great point about that Miami offensive line. See how can they do what Mario wants to do if they can, and then game on. And I can tell you, I've done about 10 of these, and this is as excited as I've been. Not just because I'm not in Ohio where it's like 6 degrees.
Hey, man, in Baton Rouge this morning, we woke up, it was 27. So be glad that you're even farther south. Bill Bender, Sporting News. Of course, at Bill Bender 92. Give him a follow there on X. Thanks, Bill. We appreciate it, man. Enjoy the game tonight.
Anytime. Thank you. You can call me anytime. Appreciate you. Bye.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's. I hope his score is right, whichever way the game ends up going, because I think what we want to see mostly is the college football season end on a high note with a great football game. That's what I'm certainly hoping to see anyway. The Georgia TCU thing that sucked. Nobody wants to watch that. Like the Indiana-Oregon blowout in the semis. And that happens. It happens at every level in every sport, man. Like we saw Seattle blow the doors off of Denver in a Super Bowl. I mean, it happens. It happens. Sometimes you don't get the great game. Hopefully we do get a great game tonight. I think if we do, it's because both teams are so good at the line of scrimmage. I mean, we've talked about it since Indiana beat Oregon the first time. They are an exceptional team on both lines of scrimmage, and clearly that's how Miami is built their team. I mean, they got 2 potential first-rounders on the defensive line. That offensive line you heard Bill talk about is massive. This could be a really fun line of scrimmage game, which could keep this close. So hoping for a great game tonight to punctuate the college football season. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, they do it all. Come spray that patented non-toxic dry fog, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. If you got odor from pet, smoke, mold, they can come knock that out. Like maybe you bought a home and someone who had that home before has pets and you're having trouble getting rid of that odor. Or maybe you had a fire and so the smoke or a smoker owned that home or vehicle. They can knock that out. It's easy. They'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. They'll close up all the windows and doors. Let that fog dwell. It'll kill everything down to the spores. You'll go into a sanitized, clean-smelling home, office, church, school, workout facility, whatever it may be, from your vehicle, your home, up to the largest commercial building in the state. Parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review, halfway home here on this Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. USLF Tigers in the pros in about 15 minutes from right now. Lots of LSU Tigers participating in the NFL playoffs over the weekend. One other thing that I want to circle back to. Oh, by the way, I did just get this word that from a source that I trust, that Jordan Seaton, the big offensive lineman, is still on his visit at LSU. So he did not leave for Oregon this morning. So I'm not saying specifically if he will or won't. I don't know that answer, but I was just told while I was talking to Bill that Seaton is still on his visit to LSU. So fingers crossed LSU can get this thing across the finish line. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. Part of what's going on here with the national championship game is discussion about the future of the college football playoff format. I got some thoughts on that, what's being discussed between Petiti and Sankey. We'll get to it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Let's Rev, R-E-V. Let'sRev.com, Let'sRev.com. It is so worth a call, y'all, to Rev to see if Rev services your neighborhood. It has fiber for your neighborhood. They just laid it, or they're in the process of laying fiber in my neighborhood. Because if you've ever had this experience where power goes out or a branch falls on a power line and your internet goes out, well, that sucks. You want to make sure that never happens? A good way to do it is switch to Rev, where they have an all-fiber network, because the lines are buried. So you don't have to worry about a storm knocking out your cable, your internet, because it's all buried under the ground. That's Rev. So let's Rev. Home, office, 70,000 Louisianians trust Rev. R-E-V. Let'sRev.com.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
It's a pretty interesting developing story here. Again, I just mentioned it before we went to break, and I do have it confirmed. Jordan Seaton is still on his LSU visit. So if you're not familiar, just the very, very quick catch up is number one offensive tackle from Colorado was at Mississippi State Friday. His former offensive line coach, Phil Lodeholt, is the offensive line coach at State now. Kind of a courtesy visit. Went to Miami on Saturday, Baton Rouge on Sunday. Had a great visit. He was expected to stay. LSU was expecting to keep him here through Monday. At a dinner planned at Supper Club Monday night. They were at Stab's Prime Sunday night and was going to a private dinner at Supper Club on Monday night. Monday morning, I was told that dinner was canceled. And many assumed, I was not told this, but many assumed that meant he was going to Oregon, which is where he was supposed to visit. That was a report from Pete Thamel that he was supposed to head to Oregon. Well, he's not in Eugene. He hasn't left Baton Rouge. I mean, he is still on his visit here at 4:30 on Monday. And LSU, as I understand it, is pushing for his. They don't want him to leave. They're trying to get him to commit and not leave. And then naturally, as we've already talked about, the semester, the campus is closed today, Monday, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And so the campus reopens on Tuesday, and that is the last day to enroll for the spring semester. So ideally, you never let him leave. He signs with you and then enrolls on Tuesday. That would be the ideal scenario for LSU, which they are pushing for. If they're able to get this done before we're off air, we'll certainly tell you about it. Speaking of great opportunity to remind you about Supper Club, as a matter of fact, it's literally the next live read have to do. Eric and I were at Supper Club on Saturday. We celebrated our wedding anniversary, and man, an amazing place to celebrate anything. But God, they just do such an amazing job. The whole atmosphere. She and I were in a semicircle booth. They took great care of us. A great table. I had the crudo for an appetizer. Erica had the crab bisque, which was divine. I was able to have one of the Sagrera cuts. I had the cowboy ribeye. I told you I was getting a steak. And if you want a Sagrera cut, there's only two ways to get it. You either go to Sagrera in Ethel and you buy the full cow from Sean, which is a great option, or you go to Supper Club. Like, that's literally it if you want a Sagrera cut. And man, steak was divine. Absolutely outstanding experience, as always. Had the creme brulee for dessert. Had a great bottle of wine. I'm telling you, you want to go have an otherworldly dining experience, go to Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations. SupperClubBTR.com. Aw, Erica literally just, she must be listening. She literally just texted me a photo of our date. Here's the Supper Club sign. And then there we are at dinner. Well, you can't see that, but anyway. But yeah, we were there this weekend, and they always treat us great. And they treat everyone great. It's just an incredible dining experience. So book your reservation, SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. I do want to talk about, I'll do it now. I want to talk about the future of the college football playoff format. I don't have a ton of time right here. But I am going to get back to a portal update, and a lot of people are asking, how LSU's been able to pay for the class that they've had. Are they affording this? I want to delve into that at least as much as I know. But one of the things to keep an eye on, Friday is the deadline for effectively the SEC and the Big Ten commissioners, Greg Sankey, Tony Petitti, to agree on a new format for the college football playoff. That is not a self-imposed deadline. That is a deadline that has been imposed by ESPN. ESPN is the sole TV rights holder for the college football playoff. So ESPN has told them by Friday, we need to know, are you staying at 12? Are you going to 16? Are you going to 24? What are you doing? Well, they can't agree. Sankey wants to go to 16. Petitti and the Big Ten want to go to 24. Here's the catch. The 16-team model has 5 auto bids. The 4 Power 4 champions and 1 auto bid for the highest-ranked G5. And then 11 at-large spots, which I would be very much in favor of that. I don't want the G5 to have an auto bid. But if that's the compromise, it's what it is. The 24-team format that Petitti is backing would give 4 auto bids to each of the Power 4. SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12. All of them would get 4 auto bids. The G5 would get 2, and then the balance, which is 6, there'd be 6 at large. I am very much in favor of an expanded playoff. You want to go to 24, 32? Great. I just want it to be a meritocracy. I don't want guaranteeing bids. Like, guaranteeing 4 bids to each of the power leagues is problematic. If you were just going to have 4, the Power 4 conference champs get an auto bid, and then 20 at large, the next top 20 ranked teams, no matter their league, perfect. That is a meritocracy. You have earned your way into the field. And if you're sitting there rolling your eyes saying that's too many, all you jokers said the same thing about going to 12, and look at what you have here. You have a game with Indiana and Miami. Ole Miss, which wouldn't have been in, made it to the semifinals. Like, playing the playoff playing it on the field, playing it out is a good thing. But you have to have the right teams in the field for that to make sense. It doesn't make sense to just guarantee the ACC 4 teams in the field when the ACC wouldn't have 4 teams that would make it among the top 24 teams. That's the problem that I would have if you go to that model. I'm not opposed to 24. I'm opposed to 24 guaranteeing each league 4 auto bids. Like in this instance, the 4 from the ACC, well, you would have had Duke get the auto bid as the conference champion, and then Virginia, SMU, and Miami would have gotten in. Like, that's a problem. Like, I don't know that 9-4 SMU is they're not a worthy team in the college football playoff. Like, you look at the Big 12. Texas Tech would have been the auto bid. I love that BYU and Utah would have been in, but then Houston would have also gotten in as the 4th auto bid there. That's the problem. It's not 24. It's the 4 auto bids that I would have a problem with. I hope. And by the way, Petiti is willing to concede 16 for 3 years. 16 for 3 years and then go to 24. Sankey is not interested in 24 as of right now. So what is the compromise? If they can't reach it by Friday, then next year we'll be right back here in the 12-team playoff. And if they stay at 12, fine. But in how they choose the 12, I think is what continues to need to be refined. They did a good job last year, eliminating the buys for Boise and Arizona State got buys last year. The top 4 got buys this year. That's better. Continue to tweak it to make sure your formula is such that you're getting the best 12 teams in the field. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. I'm going to knock out a quick break, and when we come back, Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. We are counting down to the national championship game, about 2 hours away from kickoff. Jimmy will be here with Otterlock, so a ton to do. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros, and then after the top of the hour, I do want to delve into 2 questions primarily. A lot of people have asked with this portal class. Number 1 is, how is LSU paying for all this? Number 2, what does this mean for expectations for LSU in 2026? So we'll get into all that as we continue. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
You want to do something kind of fun that's a cool pastime, whether or not you're thinking about building a pool? Go to DuplessisBuilders.net. Go to the website, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Sometimes this is just a really cool way to start visualizing something you may want eventually at your home with a pool or an outdoor kitchen. If you go to DuplessisBuilders.net, right on the homepage, there's a Pick Your Pool tab. There's also a Pick Your Patio tab. So you can pick your pool or your outdoor kitchen. So there's 11 different pool designs that you can pick from. And then there's a Customize Your Pool. So you do that, and then you can pick out your coping, your tile, your courtscape. If you want a water wall, do you want a spray deck? Do you want extra decking? It's all right there for you at DuplessisBuilders.net. Do you want to add ledge loungers, deck jet, spot tile, LED lights? You can build your pool at DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
We are wrapping up hour number 2. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Countdown to the national championship game. Final game of the college football season. Then we go into hibernation until August. But be here before you know it. Got the portal and then spring football to keep us company all throughout this offseason. Of course, the NFL playoffs rolling along as well, which we'll kind of get a little bit of catch up. And no doubt Muse has a full report on here. We do it every day about this time. Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
There are plenty of Tigers running around the field making big impacts this past weekend as well. We'll just take the games in order. So we'll start with Bills and Broncos. That's where you saw Tre'Davious White for Buffalo. 4 stops in the game. Didn't have his best day out at corner. And, boy, he was hot under the collar after a pass interference call against him set up the game-winning field goal for the Denver Broncos. Ended up getting the PI and then an unsportsmanlike conduct for berating a referee and spiking his helmet at said referee's feet. It was quite a sight to behold, but tensions are high there. But 4 tackles in the game for Tre'Davious White for the Bills and the Broncos. The game that featured the most LSU was Texans-Patriots. It seemed like every single player at one point donned the purple and gold. We'll start with Kayshon Boutte, 3 receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown. He was the leading receiver for the Patriots. The touchdown was spectacular against Derek Stingley Jr. As a matter of fact, one-handed grab in the corner of the end zone, 32 yards. And that ultimately gave the Patriots their final margin of 28-16 in that game. Just a phenomenal season for Kayshon Boutte. We mentioned Derek Stingley Jr., not his best day. He also had a pass interference call in there on him as well. But in total, 2 stops in the ball game. Danielle Hunter, once again, fantastic. 4 tackles, 2 more sacks for him in the ball game. An additional TFL and an additional hit on the quarterback for Hunter. Damone Clark, 3 stops. And how about Kayvon Chaisson? Talk about a change of scenery doing a guy good. 3 tackles, a sack. He had 4 hits on the quarterback. One of those hits caused an interception, one of 4 for C.J. Stroud. He very much impacted the game. That is now, when you count regular season and postseason, 9.5 sacks for Kayvon Chaisson in his 2025 season. His previous high was 5 a year ago at the Raiders. He fits perfectly in that scheme up in New England, and he is making the absolute most of it. You love to see that for a former first-round pick. Took him a while to get moving, but man, now that he's found a home in New England, he's been awesome. And then Omar Spates for the Los Angeles Rams a night ago was all over the field as well. Defended a couple passes, 8 total tackles in the ball game. Pardon. He likewise, I mean, man, his first couple of years in the league has been great. I did also want to mention that Will Campbell, he didn't have a great day at left tackle, did recover 2 fumbles in that ball game for New England as well. Like I said, LSU players all over the field there in that one. We didn't even mention Ed Ingram on the offensive line for Houston. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. I did a podcast this morning over at Move Media with my buddy Stuart, who years ago when I had my LASIK done at the Williamson Eye Center, we did some media. And you might remember we also did a video with this is a while back now. It's been, 7 years. With it was me, Devin White, and Warren Morris. And we all did like a round table with Dr. Blake talking about our experience there with Dr. Blake. And so it's a great illustration. I mean, Warren Morris is a professional baseball player. Everyone knows Warren, of course, for the home run, but the guy played Major League Baseball. And then Devin White won the Butkus and was a first-round pick and had an incredible year this year. But Devin was telling the story about how when he was in the huddle looking to the sidelines before they had helmet comm in college, he couldn't see the hand signals from the sideline calling into the play. So Dr. Blake did Devin White's LASIK, in part to help him be able to see to the sideline to get the hand signals for the defensive alignment. So I guess the point is, if it's good enough for Devin White, good enough for Warren Morris and dozens of other elite-level athletes who trust their sight, their vision, and then just everyday folks like you and me, man, Dr. Blake Williamson's just the best. Highly recommend. Go for that consultation. Ditch your contacts and glasses forever. Call the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, it is after further review, and we're glad to have you with us here. We opened the show today kind of with an update on Jordan Seaton and Prince Willie Monmielen, which I think are the 2 biggest prospects that everyone keeps asking about. Again, the quick update on Seaton, I was just told within the last 20 minutes, he's still on his visit to LSU, so he has not gotten on a plane to Eugene, Oregon, which was, again, I did not ever hear of his plans to visit Oregon. Pete Thamel reported, and Thamel is obviously a very good, very credible reporter, but Thamel reported that over the weekend that Seaton was supposed to leave LSU and go to Oregon on Monday. That has not happened. So he's still in Baton Rouge, and as I understand it, LSU is pushing for him to sign while he's here. They're trying to make sure he doesn't leave. Just stay here, sign, and roll. Prince Williman from Ole Miss, the thing to watch there is going to be when the NCAA reopens their offices on Tuesday after the weekend and then the holiday here on Monday, the federal holiday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. When they start processing the names of folks who the paperwork was submitted, is Uman Mielen in that number? And if he is, they process his paperwork and he officially posts in the portal, then LSU can have formal contact with him, sign him, and he can enroll in class, provided he is in fact going to pick LSU. But I was told over the weekend Ole Miss is pushing to keep him, and that Texas may be making a run as well. So those are the two, I believe, the two that we're watching here at the end of this portal cycle. By Tuesday, LSU's roster should well be set for spring football. All right, SportsCenter's coming up. It's AFR.
After further review.
Man, I'm excited about our friends over at Rouse's. Grand opening for 2 more stores is tomorrow. Gramercy and Covington. So last week they had the grand opening for Destrehan and Central. Tomorrow it'll be Gramercy and Covington as they move to 76 stores now from Lake Charles to Orange Beach. So looking forward to popping down to Gramercy in the morning to greet the folks there and be there for the ribbon cutting and the grand opening of the Rouse's in Gramercy. But y'all, the bottom line is you got a Rouse's near you. You know where it is. If you're not sure where it is, go to the website, rouses.com. You can find the location there. Just punch it into Google. You'll find it. And remember also, at Rouse's, king cakes. It is king cake season. Nobody does it better. They got all the flavors you want if you're plain Jane cinnamon like me, and they can ship your king cakes anywhere in the Continental 48. So if you are interested in shipping a king cake, go to rouses.com. Rouses, this feels like home.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.